'cause I know that it's something real. Gonna say how I feel, 'cause I know that it's something real. Hey, hey. Gonna say how I feel, 'cause I know that it's something real. Gonna say how I feel.
Well, hi there, everybody. You see, I have my buddy here with me. Yep. Yes. This is I can never remember his name. Hi, is everybody today? My Raven came today. You can see he had his hair. I brushed his hair for him. The grandkids tend to have a good time with him. Since this story is all about him. Yeah, he thought he would come. Whoops, you're out of focus, buddy. Can't get too close. I know. Yeah, here, you have a seat. How is everybody today? I hope you're doing a good time. Hey, Gail. Let's see who do we have? Gail's here. Hello. Helen is here. Gloria and Nathan and Deirdre is here. Yes. Helen is. It's been a weather changer today, huh, Helen? We had some clouds rolling at the end of the day. Nathan's having noodles. Deirdre's having probably cold weather. Gloria's here. Yay. Okay, everybody. Yes. Like that. So, love the hand puppy. Yes, this is one of my folk Manis. That's the name of the company. Folk Manis puppets. They make these very lifelike looking puppets. And he can have a pretty good time. He used to sit in the library. The kids were always having a good time. Which one is this? Is it? Yes, Folk Manis puppets. This is the Raven. Of course, I wondered if it had a name on it. Nope. Don't know. So how has everybody been today? It is been kind of, I took Aldo for a walk this morning. You don't get my brisk walk that I wanted to get in because he's sniffing around where the coyotes have been, and he has to tell the coyote who's in charge. So it's like sniff, sniff, walk, walk, sniff, 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 sniff. It's ridiculous. Then Bob had, I think, an oil change on his truck today, so he was gone most of the day with various things. And I plugged away at doing a bunch of different things. I got videos done for a couple other stories way down, I mean like in the future stories. So like I already have the videos done for the one for 94, night 94, and the one for 88, I think, 88. Yep, 88. Got those done, figured out books to go with those because there's some events that go around with them and I kind of fit those. And then I did a tutorial, a Canva tutorial. I taped it and everything and I only had to retape the end of it, so I spliced that together and I posted it this afternoon. Wasn't expecting to do that, but I thought I needed to do that because it's good for me. it's good for me to do those kind of things. When I'm learning these kind of things, it's good for me to put them out there like a lesson. It just works. It works. Yes. Let's see. Oh, come on. Oh, turn the heat off. There we go. I was really cold most of the day, so I have those toe warmer things that I get for, you can put in your, they're like hand warmers, but you can get them for your toes. So I got those because since I've lost my weight, and since I've had my knees replaced, my feet get cold again and my hands are cold. So you see me with my little, I feel like I got my mittens. I should be reading the mitten rather than what I'm going to read tonight. So, okay, 2 coyotes hanging in the back of his truck. Oh my goodness. Coyotes can be brazen. They can be either really chicken and run away, or else they can be brazen. They're quite funny. They used to occasionally come down into the orchards, and when you have in the orchards, we had what we called cherry guns, which were just a kind of a device that would pop off it sounded like a gunshot every once in a while to scare the birds away in order to keep them from going at the cherries and, pecking at the cherries. They would do that. It was really terrible. The starlings particularly. So we had cherry guns. The coyotes would sometimes come down. Sometimes we had elk come down into the orchards too, but we tried to keep those out with the cherry guns and stuff like that. Hey, hi Angie. How are you? Angie's here. Deirdre, you watched the tutorial. Thank you so much. That was fun. I'm glad you liked it. It was. I kind of fought against learning Canva. I didn't think it was going to do what I couldn't imagine. And then I started to do some things with some simple little things, take it step by step, kind of like I've done with ecamm. Tiny little things rather than try to encompass all that it can do all at once. And I'm just really surprised at what it could do. Yeah. And when I found those short little video clips that weren't long enough and realized I could layer them and with a longer background clip, I was like, what? So that was kind of fun. Oh my goodness. Yay. So Gail's here, Dee's here. Everybody's having a good time talking. Yes, Angie, that was a really good live today. That was really good. Yeah, but we were all yelling at you, though. We were all yelling in through the TV. No, stop. Back away from the chopsticks. It was funny. Does she not hear us? It was great, but it turned out beautifully. You knew just the right spot. What to do. You had it. You knew just what you were doing. That's so good. Yes. Yeah, she did feel such a connection with everybody. It's really good. You didn't know you had coyote in the area? Coyote are an animal that is pretty pervasive anywhere. They can kind of exist in most areas. It's kind of like a mountain lion, or what we call the cougar or mountain lion. It's basically the same animal from the upper parts of Canada all the way down to the southern tip of South America. It is the same cat. And coyotes are similar. They can exist in so many different places. Yeah, they're really pretty sturdy. So just checking in on everybody here. And oh, Joanne, yay! Joanne's had a power outage, and she was sitting in her basement freezing, and then the generator finally kicked in, and then her internet temporarily went out. And she's here! Yay! Yay! Round of applause. Good for you. Oh my gosh. And it's so good to have everybody here. It's all this stuff. Oh, you like the opening pictures? So the opening pictures today are a compilation of all of my work. Some of them, the background picture of the forest is one of mine, and I actually, in order for it to go as long as it needed to go, I put a like a transparent video behind all of it, so that it had a certain amount of time, and then on top of that, I put my picture of the here. Let me see if I can show you. Doop-a-doop. Unmute. Oh, so now you can hear me. So the background picture is, I'm pretty sure that is looking out toward the Olympic Mountains, or else that might be Mount St. Helens. It could be Mount St. Helens, but the forest in the background. So it's a static picture, and I needed a video to go longer. So what I did was I put a transparent background behind this that was a transparent video that had a certain amount of time, so it would run. And then this raven right here is one of my photos from Yellowstone, and I took the background out of it. I took it into background remover on Canva and took the background out, so I just left the raven, and then I had it slide in. You can slide it in, and then this is actually the cover of another raven I did in Yellowstone, and a book. It says introspection, divination, and renewal. Those are three things that the raven stands for, and it's part of a journal that I have on Amazon. It's a blank journal, notebook journal that is for sale on Amazon. So, but that's one of my raven pictures, and I have it in in cards too. But so it was kind of a fun thing to put them all together. So I'm glad you liked it. I'm there. Go back to where I was down here. Now you can hear me again. So that was kind of a fun thing to do. It for me, putting those together at the beginning, it really is part of building the whole story and bringing it all together and the different parts and leading up to it, but not giving it away. And how can I do that? It's good for my brain. It's, I got to keep little parts of this brain popping off so I don't turn into a gerbil. Yeah, that's the thing. Hey, Marla's here. Hi, everyone, she says. Oh, good. Yes. We've got a crowd here. You get coyotes in your backyard. So we've had some up the road, and they've been running around here a little more prevalent. This has been a little rougher winter in some ways, but that's good. They'll be fine. We'll get them. They looked pretty healthy, so. But the deer are still, we've had the deer wandering around out in my front yard and out through the whole area for quite a little bit. One of them we're probably soon to have new babies pretty soon. Oh my goodness. Oh yeah, coyotes will do outside cats. I lost an outside cat to a great horned owl. Yeah, well, that wasn't pleasant. So if you're in those areas where there's animals like that out and about, you gotta kind of food chain. So here we go. I gotta put my phone on do not disturb. Yeah. We had outdoor cats growing up, and because we had orchard, and it was always interesting what they would catch and what caught them, and yeah, but there was no way that they would be indoor cats. When you live on a farm and orchards are the animals, they don't like to come in the house. Not at all. So everybody, it's good to have everybody here and talking up. You love the ravens. So yes, looks like Mount St. Helens. Yeah, thank you, Helen. I thought it was Mount St. Helens. So here's my raven, my Folk Madness raven puppet. Folk Madness is, if you ever are into puppets and you want really good puppets, these are amazing. This one, what you can do, Angie, if I had your chopsticks, it would be perfect. It has little pockets on the wing, so you can take a way, like a stick, and make him move his wings, which is pretty cool to be able to do. But I always used to use these at school, but I have my dragon one, I have a cougar, and I used to have a big tiger and all kinds of, I had a lion. They're fun. And they're really worth the money. People oftentimes don't think that because they are kind of costly, but boy, they are. I've had this guy for probably 15 years, and he was in the school library, and the kids used him all the time. There were kids that came in and wanted to play with the puppets at recess, and yeah, so they last a long time. But he wanted to come today for this story because it is all about him. You've got some awesome skills. Thank you. That was sweet of you to say, Nathan. Oh my goodness. Your favorite dog? Oh yeah. Dogs on the farm can be amazing. Chasing bobcat up the tree. All kinds of critters. Yeah, there was a bear in I think I told you last summer we had a bear on the beach at 4th of July, and everybody was freaking out, and I was down there trying to take pictures and get in there, and oh my goodness. So, yes, year round. Okay. So, the story tonight is another one by Nancy Luenn, who did last night, Nessa's Fish. And remember, she wrote Miser on the Mountain, the book about the Indian legend about Mount Rainier. And then Nessa's Fish last night, the Alaskan tale of the grandmother and the grandchild. This one is called Song for the Ancient Forest. And let me tell you a couple little things that it said about Nancy that I had not read before about this. She was delighted to have the opportunity to write the text for this book because of her personal concern for the fate of our ancient forests. Growing up as the daughter of a biologist, she learned that the forest is more than just trees. All of the life forms in the ecosystem are interdependent. She worked for 7 years for the Mountaineers, one of the many organizations trying to preserve the remaining ancient forests in the Pacific Northwest. We have a beautiful old growth forests here in the Northwest, and over the years there's been controversy on, since I can remember, since of whether they should be cut down and which ones preserved. And there was a time, when you have timber companies as large as we've had in the Northwest here, they have a large stake in clearing the land at one time and didn't necessarily replant. But it came down to this about the old growth forest because it really is pretty unique, and what it does and what it creates when you have trees that are 300 years old or older, and their ecosystem can't be replaced if you cut them down and then just replant a new tree in there. That ecosystem just won't be recreated. And it took a long time for sides to come together to come to some agreement about how that could be managed and how we could balance between the people, the saving of our old growth forests and that ecosystem and how it helps the earth and people's livelihoods. So it's always been kind of a knife edge to walk up here in the Northwest. So the illustrator, though, Jill Kastner, did not grow up around this area, and she actually said that she grew up in New Jersey. She graduated from the Rhode Island School of Design and now lives in Hoboken, New Jersey. And to research this book, she actually came out to visit the ancient forests in the Northwest, which I mean, it would be my wish for every one of you to at some point, at some time, be able to walk through an old growth forest wherever it is. There's nothing quite like that experience, to kind of go off the beaten path of an old growth forest and to stand in its grandeur. It's pretty amazing. Let's see, I'm just checking before I read what else is up here. She said the puppet scared her at first. Yeah, he kind of gives that way to this. This is Jill Kastner's website. The illustrations on her website are very different than what are in the book. These are the books that she has done. It shows here. Some of them are her own, and some she has illustrated for others. Probably the Shepherd Boy there is probably closest to some of the things I've seen here, or maybe Bear Dream. Howling Hill. She did the cover for Will Hobbs is chapter books for kids, young, probably fourth grade. They're just amazing stories. So Princess Dinosaur she has. Oh, and her art along the way here. A lot of different technique to this. She has from the almost abstract type of thing that's almost like a chalk-like experience in this, like pastels, but to some of the more defined here. It's interesting to see her different styles. And it's nice to see that it doesn't all flip into one. I like her website. I like the way it rolls through in this little person here. In this almost reminds me of like in Where the Wild Things Are, that kind of look to it. So she's the illustrator for tonight. And it'll be fun to see what you think of these books and of the illustrations she's done for this book. Because tonight's book is called Song for the Ancient Forest by Nancy Luenn, illustrated by Jill Kastner. Oh, you guys are so tolerant of me with my earbuds, things that I pull. Okay, let's see before I read if there's anybody else that's checked in. Yeah, my raven is awesome sauce. Mahalo, Gloria's. Oh, I'll show my cougar another night. He's the one who sits and kind of he can look and stare down. He can stare you down. Yeah, my dragon, my grandson actually likes to sit on him and like he's pretending to fly. Yes, you guys all could write a book. You all could. I did. Julie E's here. Yay! I got your message. I'm everybody's things. I'm putting them together. I'm planning on shipping them out tomorrow from folks who won the other night. So I think I have Gloria's address from previously. I'm not sure. I'll double check. If not, I'll reach out to you. But let me drink another dip of water here. So again, this is a pretty Raven in and of itself. The legends around Raven is known as the trickster, the mischief maker, whatnot, but he's also really the bearer of wisdom. He's often the wise woman or the wise man would oftentimes have a raven jacket or a raven shawl, something to indicate that the wisdom of Raven, and that in Native American culture is, yes, he's the trickster, but he's also the source of wisdom. So here we are with the song for the ancient forest. I forgot that Nancy signed it. To Gretchen and Bob, who are listening to Raven's songs. Best wishes, Nancy Luenn, 1993. See the beautiful headdress, Raven headdress. We are actually really fortunate here in the Northwest. If we can ever get back up to Canada, up to Vancouver, there's one of the most astounding museums. It's called the Museum of Man, and it is the First Nation and coastal Indian art that is there. Oh my goodness, it's beyond beautiful. That's kind of what I saw out my window today. It kind of looked like this. This is kind of how our foggy day was today. Then the sun came out. And this is what it looks like when you walk on those foggy days into a forest. It's very realistic. Long ago, before people came to walk beneath the big trees of the ancient forests, Raven lived there. Raven was a trickster. His harsh voice boasted of the tricks he played. He teased the other animals and stole their food, but he was also very wise. One night, Raven had a dream. He dreamed that the forest was gone. Streams ran brown and the salmon died, and the owl's song was no longer heard. Raven awoke with a cry. He asked the world for a song to sing, a song of power that would change his dream. The world's spirit answered, "Every song must have a singer, and each singer must find one who understands his song." "That is easy," thought proud Raven, "for I am a great singer." He listened carefully while the spirit taught him his song. When Raven grew tired of playing tricks on the other animals, he created a people from warm brown spring earth. They lived in the forest, cutting the trees they needed to build lodges and carve totem poles and shape canoes. They gathered huckleberries in cedar baskets and fished for salmon in the autumn streams. Raven stole their food and played tricks on them, but they honored him as their creator and welcomed him beside their fires. When his belly was full, Raven would call out, "Listen!" He would tell of his frightening dream and sing his song. The people laughed. "Oh, that is Raven, and he is just playing tricks." Again, they did not believe his dreams, for they could not imagine a land without the forest. Then Raven became angry. He made fir cones tumble from the sky until they fell like rain. Still, he went back the next evening to play and eat and play his tricks and sing again. Years passed like salmon swimming upstream. A new kind of people came into the land. They cut down trees to build their homes and cleared the forest for their farms. They pushed the first people away from their land. The settlers cut more trees and began to sell their timber. "Listen!" Raven shouted to them, and he sang his song. But the settlers did not understand him. All they heard was the call of a raven. When he stole their food, they did not laugh, but drove him away. Raven was very discouraged. Hiding, he pondered what the spirit had told him. Every song must have a singer, and each singer must find one who understands the song. But what if no one would listen? More and more of the ancient trees fell. A day came when the owl's song was seldom heard. The noise of buzzing saws and rumbling logging trucks disturbed the air. Only scattered patches of the ancient forest remained. Still, Raven sat in his tree, looking for the one who would understand his song. Every day, a girl named Marnie walked deep into the forest. She sat and listened to the murmur of the trees. Raven watched Marnie with a hopeful eye. One day she settled under Raven's tree. Silently he drifted down. "I am Raven," he said proudly. "Raven," whispered Marnie, "how did you learn to talk?" "I am a trickster," he boasted. "I invented talking." Then he shouted, "Ha! You understand me!" No one had listened to Raven for years. Maybe she would even understand his song. Puffing out his feathers, Raven sang. Marnie listened, and her face became grave. All day she sat in thought. Then she went home and pleaded with her father. "Papa, we must stop cutting down our ancient forest." Her father shook his head. "Marnie," he said, "I am a logger. How will I make a living if I don't cut trees?" "The trees do not belong to us, Papa. We belong to the forest." She sang him Raven's song in words she hoped he would understand. Her father was silent, for he knew the ancient forest well. "Marnie," he said finally, "let me think on this a while." He thought for many days, and each day his thoughts grew deeper. Perhaps his daughter was right. What would their future be without the forest? At last he gathered the loggers together. "Friends," he said, "we must stop logging the ancient forest." "How will we make money?" they demanded. "What will we eat? How will we build houses? There are plenty of trees." "But not much forest. Listen." He sang Raven's song. "We must find a new way of logging, one that does not destroy the land. We can still cut trees, but let the ancient forest stand." Then he told them of his plan. A few agreed to try. Together they spoke to the man who owned the trees. "We have always cut these trees," the owner argued. "Why should we stop now?" Marnie's father and his friends began singing Raven's song. Raven, very proud of himself, sang loudest of all. But all the angry owner could hear was the raven calling, "Caw, caw!" Pesky bird! He picked up a stone and threw it, hitting Raven. Raven tumbled out of the tree and onto the ground, a heap of broken feathers. As he lay there, he felt his blood watering the earth. With it, his song flowed into the forest and into every living thing. Then the trees themselves began to sing. When they heard the forest singing, the owner and his crew dropped their saws. For a moment they stood listening, mouths wide open. Then, terrified, they ran away. Raven, dying, looked inside his bag of tricks. He found a new suit of feathers. Leaving the old one on the ground, he flew to a branch in a hemlock tree. He could feel it singing beneath him. The song carried life from the tips of his talons to his shiny new wings. He preened his feathers. Every song must have a singer, he told the world. And this singer has found the one who understands his song. Then Raven opened his beak and began to sing. Squirrel drops fungus in the forest, hemlock, cedar, spruce, and fir. Fungus growing feeds the tree roots, starting round the circle of time. Fungus feeds squirrel, squirrel feeds owl, marten, bobcat, fisher, mink. Dying deer feeds wolf and cougar, death feeds life in the circle of time. Spawning salmon feeds the eagle, cedar, bear, and humankind. Forest fills streams till autumn. Fish come home in the circle of time. Dying tree falls, settles slowly. Moss and seedlings grow on its spine, reaching up toward rain and sunlight, starting over the circle of time. Without the squirrel, there is no owl. Without the salmon, eagle dies. Without the fungus, there is no forest. Without the forest, no circle of time. No circle of time. No circle of time. And that's the song for the ancient forest. So, I'm scooting down here on comments. I love her illustrations. They look like pastels. True. Just let me grab something over here that I did last night. Here it is. I'm glad you said they look like pastels. Oh my goodness, Julie E., I'm so sorry. Beautiful illustration book form. Yeah. So Angie said she thought that they looked like chalk, like or like pastels. Yep, Joanne, you're right. Dill pickle juice, it works for the spasms. And Julie E., this worked. I cut out all nightshades and like potatoes. So nightshades are anything like tomato, any nightshades. I did that and my joint pain disappeared. I'm back to eating, I can eat cherry tomatoes again, but I cut out nightshades and potatoes. I can eat sweet potatoes, but not potatoes, and a lot of those things. Yep, joint pain disappeared. My sister had fibromyalgia too. It has helped her a great deal to cut out those. Yeah, it is extremely realistic. The drawings, especially the one along here, like the deer, but the one that has these guys right here. This is not it's not unusual for me to see eagles like this. We have a pair of eagles that fly by every morning, and yeah, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? They are amazing birds. I'm living the illustrations. Aren't they pretty? So, it takes a lot for me to be brave enough to draw, but I tried last night. That one, had to do the upside down drawing bit. The one that is this page. This one, that page. Yeah, mine's a lot more cartoony, but I tried it. It worked. I'm okay. I'm okay with that. I kind of like doing that. I was watching Olympics last night and drawing after this. And then this is another one that I really like. I like the colors here. For someone who didn't grow up in the Northwest, she picked up the salmon colors really well. The salmon, when they come in to spawn, are the most amazing, colorful things that you've ever seen. And the bear, this would happen. The ravens will come in and they'll steal a fish right from the bear. But most of the time, the birds, the seagulls are the ones that get the scavenger after the bears are done, because the bears will eat, they'll catch a fish, and they'll eat 3 parts of the salmon. They eat the brain, the stomach, which has the egg, and then the skin, because those has the highest level of calories. And so oftentimes you'll see them and they will grab a salmon and they'll chomp the head, and they'll chomp through the head, and then they'll rip the skin down and eat that, and they'll grab the stomach out. And then they leave the rest for the rest of the animals. But the bear, like this, that's so realistic in the illustrations. I think you're right. They seem very, very much like pastel-like pictures. Very much. So I tried. Yeah, I tried. Yeah. I think I do better with the photographs. Yes, ravens will actually seek out people they hold grudges against. They'll also tease you. Crows are notorious for up here we have a lot of crows. Don't ever throw anything at a crow, because they will go tell all their crow buddies. And we had a weatherman up here that he'd been around for ages, and for Como News, he was on the roof of the news station doing the morning news, and a crow was, he'd done it every morning for years. This crow decided to dive at him one morning, so he had an umbrella, so he poked at the, go away, go away. By the end of the week, he couldn't stay on the roof anymore because he was being dive bombed by all the crows. That was like early in the week. That was one that he poked at. Went and told all his buddies. The next morning there was like 5. By the third morning there was like 50. And by the end of the week he couldn't even go outside because they were dive bombing the roof. True story. True story. Years ago. Okay, yeah, they have amazing memories. We have it's in Bothell. So we're 405. There's I-5 and 405, but there's 405 is a highway that goes out in town. Bothell is out there, and we're the one of the 522 highway in Bothell. There's a kind of a swampland, and every evening there's there's a campus actually a community college and the Bothell campus of the University of Washington there. Didn't used to have that there. They built those probably about 15 years ago. And when they built them, it was suddenly noticed that these crows were coming in, and during, if you were out walking between classes in the evening when the crows were coming in at dusk, you had to be careful. So they've been studying them, and the crows will start to come in the evening, and they literally come from as far as 100 miles away. And there's hundreds of thousands of them. You can see them actually come in. I used to see them come in along, you'll see big groups of them coming in from the north and from the east and the west, from all over, and they come and they swirl around and they land and they tell each other all the gossip. They sleep there that night, in the morning they're gone. They go back off to wherever they're going. But ravens are, that crows come in that big groups together. Ravens are far more solitary. They usually have a partner, and you'll see them in groups of twos in places more likely in more mountainous areas. And they are pretty funny, and they will hold a grudge though. But if you speak to them nicely, they think it's funny. Yes, I talk to ravens and I talk to crows. All right. Oh, hi, Janice. How are you? Yay, the forest pictures are pretty, very pretty. So anyway, that was the story for tonight, the song for the ancient forest. I wanted to share that with you just because, it's, the work, the artwork on it is amazing. And for me, the forest is a huge inspiration. It's where I can go to reset, to do my photographs, and to go into it. It's just one of those things that if you walk up to a tree that is hundreds of years old, it's whoa. To feel that the redwoods are like this, some of the old redwoods, but the really old growth up here, and in Canada we have old growth, and it's pretty amazing to have that sense of connection to the earth. So I was just checking through. Aren't they magical? Yeah, the illustrations are magical. Janice is here. Everybody's saying hi to Janice. Good. Yay. So we've had a great night here. Julie E's suffering tonight with her fibromyalgia and everything, and so we're all sending positive energy and good thoughts and healing energy for her, wrapping you in that healing energy. Gloria is probably steering it in the right direction. She's kind of the captain of that energy steering boat for us. Wow, these illustrations, they really are. And they're so different from some of the ones that are on her website, but I think that she really captured the Northwest. She captured my backyard. She really did capture my backyard. There's these longhouses here. There is actually Discovery Island, I think it is, where they have, you can take over there to and it's on a tribal land, and they have all the longhouse, and to see everything all set up. We have so many different tribes around the area, and such a rich culture. It's really beautiful to see some of these. If you've ever seen a canoe that's been carved out, a cedar canoe, it's something else. And the pine cones. Yeah. I love how she made the light coming through the trees. Yeah. Notice on this, okay, so when you think about logging trucks, when I was younger and they were a little girl and they were still cutting down these big trees, it would not be unusual that you could only get 3 logs on a logging truck because the trees were so big. And think about the last time you saw a logging truck that didn't have at least, 40 trees on it compared to what these are. Think about that. That's how big and how long it took for them to grow like that. It's pretty amazing. All right, so okay, everybody, let's see how we're doing here. Yeah, it's just amazing the difference in the trees. So everybody, that was my story for tonight. The song for the ancient forest. I I just loved it. If somebody wants to put the song at the end to music, I couldn't come up with one to put to music. But without the squirrel, there is no owl. Without the salmon, eagle dies. Without the fungus, there is no forest. Without the forest, no circle of time. No circle of time. No circle of time. I love that. It's so beautiful. Sad but beautiful, but it's those kind of things that I'm just grateful that we've had a better awareness, at least while I was growing up, and we kind of came around. I'm not so sure that we still have that, whether we need to stand up again for our forests and whatnot, but it's the way it is. So everybody, silent moved by the story. Yeah, that was awesome. Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. It's one of the things that's really deep in my heart is about the conservation of our natural resource, or well, just of the earth, of so many different things, just to preserve it in so many ways, so that we all have a chance to see it. And not only, it's not just about getting a chance to see it, it's the fact that if we screw it up, it's screwed up. It's the way it is for a reason. So that's my little soapbox for tonight. All right, everybody. I am going to let you go. I encourage you to look out your windows and maybe grab some oil pastels or something and see what you can do on looking out, and if you have trees out there or different kind of trees in different areas, and seeing what maybe pastels might do and how you can create that with that. With what I did with the upside down on this, yes, it makes a big mess, and I could have taken then, see, then you can do that. You can add some shading by just literally just take a little bit of a cloth and different kind of things. When my friend Michael was on the sailboat, he and my friend Suzanne on the sailboat for 6 years, and he's an artist, and they were living on a sailboat, started out to sail around the world, but ended up in Tasmania and New Zealand and different places. But for the first 3 years, they were out on the boat in different places. And when Michael, what he took with him to do his art was oil pastels, because it was the easiest thing to carry and to have on a boat and not have to worry about having other kind of like having to mix paint and paint water and stuff like that, because that's so the work that he did on, I have a couple pieces that he did while they were out And there's some really favorite pieces of mine. I admire people who can work with oil pastels because, let me tell you, it's a challenge. But they probably have ones that were not inexpensive at Michael's like I do. Oh well, it's fun. So find something new for yourself to draw, and maybe try a forest, maybe try a raven. Check out the birds. They're always so fun. So until next time, everybody, you guys take care. As always, this is such a blessing for me to be able to do this, to share these stories. I keep saying I'm going to say goodbye. I got on the library website last night, on my local library. And I remembered all these books. And I was like, oh yes, there's that one. So I have a stack of books on reserve that are coming. Oh my goodness, you guys. Yeah. It's good. Story Hours is around for a while. And as long as you guys want to be here, I'm going to still keep reading. And so thank you so much for bringing a boost into my life and for listening as I share these thoughts. And until next time, you guys are beautiful inside and out, but keep looking for the beauty hidden in plain sight. It's everywhere around you. And until next time. Goodness gracious, I ran out of music.